loses a close, tough fight to Terence Crawford. I don't know.
But he's gotten older. He's grown out of the division.
Is
saying.
Yeah, but so is Terence Crawford.
You can't make the weight.
But so is Terence Crawford. I picked Terence Crawford because he started 135. Floyd started 130. He turned pro. He's 130.
I mean, Max really has earned the right to an opinion. And his current opinion is that Terence Crawford is the greatest of all time. Now, I will tell you, Max is a fan. I can relate to this. I got in there and I did the sport, and there are times that there is a credibility that will come along with me for having done the sport. But I'm the same as Max.
Crawford is, you know what I mean? Especially being, 38? Something like that, yeah, 38. So listen, to do what he done in the manner he did it, moving up 2 weights, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest to do it.
Max Kellerman analyzes the much-awaited fight between Mayweather and Crawford, pointing out how different their careers have been. He explains that Floyd built an impressive record by choosing his opponents wisely, which kept his resume strong but also brought criticism. In contrast, Terence Crawford never backed down from any challenge, taking on all contenders and proving himself time after time. While Mayweather's legacy is undeniable, Kellerman leans toward Crawford, saying his fearless attitude and readiness to face anyone give him the upper hand.
Like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Oh, yes.
That makes a...
Max Kellerman has often questioned whether Floyd Mayweather truly deserves the top spot on the pound-for-pound list. While he recognizes Floyd's unmatched technical skill, Kellerman believes that success alone doesn't make someone the greatest of all time. He highlights Terence Crawford's rise, noting how Crawford has won titles in 4 different weight divisions, an achievement that puts him alongside Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao built his legacy by moving up in weight and defeating champions at every level, and Kellerman sees Crawford following a similar path. For him, real greatness isn't about staying undefeated, but about taking risks, climbing divisions, and facing the best fighters out there.
Division champion in boxing, not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing.
In another strong critique, Kellerman argued that Mayweather managed his career carefully to protect his undefeated record. He noted that Floyd often picked opponents who were either past their best or posed less of a threat. Early on, Mayweather earned praise for his sharp defense and technical skill, but later in his career, he focused more on high-paying fights than real challenges. This approach sparked criticism that his perfect record was built on smart business moves rather than pure dominance. Kellerman's point is that while Floyd's greatness is undeniable, his selective matchmaking made that 0 on his record feel less meaningful because fans wanted to see him truly tested, not playing it safe.
He won right up until the point where he started to make money. But as much credit as you get for making, the primacy of business, for making business your priority, well, that comes with trade-offs. Because when you make business decisions constantly, sometimes your athletic achievements won't be regarded in the same way as if you made athletic achievements your priority. That said, Mayweather has accomplished a tremendous amount athletically. But the 3 fighters he didn't fight, Antonio Margarito, Manny Pacquiao, when he was obliterating De La Hoya, Hatton, and Cotto, and Shane Mosley when he still has something left. And while he will wind up fighting Pacquiao and Mosley, it'll both be, at the right time for Floyd. That said, what about at the right time? Floyd, he's also ancient. A fighter approaching 40, fighting at the level Mayweather is fighting, is unheard of. Mayweather, until recent times, would be considered one of the greatest older fighters that would be the whole story. Oh my God, can you believe how old Mayweather is? It's a little bit unfair to Floyd to say, well, you're picking these guys at the right time.
Kellerman's praise of Terence Crawford as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters ever sparked pushback from fans and analysts loyal to Mayweather's legacy. Critics felt Kellerman was too quick to crown Crawford and that his career still needs more time to fully prove itself. However, former UFC star Chael Sonnen defended Kellerman's right to express his view. Sonnen pointed out that both analysts and fans should be free to make bold statements when they genuinely recognize greatness. He added that Kellerman's opinion shouldn't be seen as biased, but as a well-informed take from someone who has studied boxing for decades. In doing so, Sonnen emphasized how healthy debates like this keep combat sports exciting, as differing opinions drive the ongoing conversation about who truly deserves the title of greatest of all time.
Max really has earned the right to an opinion. And his current opinion is that Terence Crawford is the greatest of all time. Now, I will tell you, Max is a fan. I can relate to this. I got in there and I did the sport, and there are times that there is a credibility that will come along with me for having done the sport. But I'm the same as Max. I'm a fan. I stopped off and had a career doing it, but I started as a fan during my time in that career, and now I'm a fan. And Max was a little heavy on Canelo. Now, when I say it was a little heavy, it just surprised me as such an expert, as a guy that knows everything. I mean, Max knows the amateurs. He knows what Usyk did in the Olympic Games and the World Championships and the Golden Gloves before that, and he knows everybody else as well. I was a little surprised, if I'm being fair, at how much he thought Canelo was a great fighter. That part did surprise me. But just because Canelo has been beat doesn't mean he's not. It's interesting. Canelo's had some really hard fights, and by the way, he's had a lot of them. There's not usually a time in boxing where a guy can have anything but a 0 in his loss column, and the guy can still get over. Not only was that not the case, Canelo was valued just dollar and cents at 10 times more valuable than Crawford. Oh, by the way, Crawford is the only one that showed up with an undefeated record. And I must admit, some of those losses that Canelo had seem like the kind of thing that would really slow a guy down.
News of Terence Crawford setting his sights on becoming the undisputed middleweight champion has sparked both excitement and doubt. After already defeating Canelo Alvarez, the man many saw as the face of modern boxing, Crawford's legacy seems firmly secured. His win over Canelo broke the belief that size and power could stop him. Many analysts argue that he has nothing left to prove, having already beaten the sport's biggest star. Still, Crawford's decision to chase undisputed status at 160 pounds shows his relentless drive to keep testing himself. If he pulls it off, he'll enter elite territory, proving once again that he's not content with greatness. He's determined to keep pushing it higher.
Anti-climaxing for him to drop back down because you already reached the height. You already slayed the giant. And essentially that's what Terence Crawford has already done. He slayed the giant, okay? Anything else he can do is going to be anti-climaxing. Nobody else he can fight. Canelo Alvarez has 63 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Canelo Alvarez is the face, or was the face, of the sport of boxing, right? And you defeated him and outclassed him. Everybody expected you to get knocked out. It was a money grab. It wasn't realistic. And you achieved it, right? There's nothing else you can do but one thing. And as I stated, you can put your crown so high on the pedestal, it's almost impossible to reach. And I stated that becoming undisputed in another glamour division in 2 fights, because it really doesn't matter who Terence Crawford fights at this point in time. There is no name that's going to garner him the traction and attention that he got from fighting Canelo. If he fights Ron Ennis, it's not going to do it. Virgil Ortiz, not going to do it. None of those guys, anybody would put against Canelo Alvarez and say that they would beat Canelo Alvarez. So now he would be expected to beat everybody. Okay? Sebastian Fundora, the Towering Inferno, because of the size difference, he's 6'6", 80 plus inch arm reach, right? At fighting at 154 pounds, that would be...
When the conversation shifts to who deserves the title of greatest of all time, Kellerman dismisses the idea that Mayweather automatically earns it. He argues that Floyd avoided the kind of risks that truly define boxing legends. While he recognizes Mayweather's flawless technique, Kellerman insists that greatness is about more than defensive skill and wealth. Icons like Muhammad Ali and Roberto Duran built their legacies by taking on every challenge, no matter the risk or timing. To Kellerman, Mayweather lacked that same fearless drive. That's why he challenges the notion of Floyd as the greatest and instead points to fighters like Crawford, who keep proving themselves by facing dangerous opponents without letting business decisions dictate their legacy.
Marciano was 49-0. Before Floyd got to 50-0, he was a heavyweight champ. Did anyone ever consider Rocky Marciano the GOAT? No, not seriously, no. Why would Floyd be considered the GOAT? Because he beat more fighters than Rocky did, more great ones? That's true. But really, Floyd was careful in the way he selected opponents. Don't get that twisted. It's not that Floyd didn't fight a lot of great fighters. He did. It's not that I don't think he would have beaten a lot of the tougher fighters that he fought. I think he probably would have, but he didn't do it. He waited. He waited till Pacquiao wasn't at his best anymore. He didn't fight Margarito when Margarito was tearing everyone up. He waited for the right time to fight people. He got paid twice as much for fighting Pacquiao in a less dangerous fight than he would have had he fought him when everyone wanted to see him fight. Floyd is among the all-time greats, but he ain't nothing.
British boxer Hamza Shiraz praised the way Terence Crawford has built his legacy, noting that his journey stands out because it combines dominance with a fearless attitude toward every major opponent. Shiraz said it's an honor to witness a fighter who not only defeats champions but does it with such precision and calm that it almost seems effortless. For him, Crawford's story goes beyond wins and titles. It's about the message behind them. True greatness, Shiraz believes, comes from taking on the hardest challenges, not avoiding them. With that view, he joins the growing number of fighters and fans who see Crawford's career as the purest example of boxing excellence.
Whack, like I was saying it, oh mate, I had it totally wrong. But it just goes to show how good Crawford is, you know what I mean? Especially being 38? Something like that, yeah, 38. So listen, to do what he done in the manner he did it, moving up 2 weights, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest to do it, one of the greatest to set foot in it. You know what, it was an honor to watch himself and Canelo live ringside. So the outcome of it wasn't ideal because if Canelo won, I would have been in line next, which is still the case, but just delayed a little bit. And I suppose it all depends what Crawford wants to do.
I saw a post from Umar actually, who put out before the fight, said, I really want my boy Hamza to win, but I think that Crawford will win. And I think a lot of people kind of possibly have seen that sentiment of they want him to win for you, but at the same time, a few people I spoke to picked Crawford to win.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it was a split of opinions, wasn't it? It was very, very divided. But then straight away when the first bell went, and I see Crawford run to the centre, grab centre, you know he weren't here to fuck around, man. And he just bossed it. I think I give Canelo no more than 4 rounds. But then at the same time, you've got to put yourself in Canelo's shoes. He's achieved everything he's needed to do in the sport. He's earned more than enough money, and he's still daring to be great. So as a fighter, as a fan,
Amid ongoing debates, one analyst pointed out that the global landscape of boxing is changing fast due to Saudi Arabia's rising influence. Leading this transformation is Turki Alashik, the man behind many of today's biggest fight cards. Traditionally, the United States served as boxing's main stage, but Saudi Arabia has now positioned itself as the new home for major events. Many of these bouts are seen as more entertainment-focused than competitive, designed to grab headlines rather than pit the best fighters against each other. Critics argue that Al-Shika's strategy isn't only about boosting Saudi Arabia's sports profile, it's also quietly challenging the US dominance that shaped boxing for decades. By attracting top fighters and major stars to Saudi soil, he's shifting the sport's center of gravity. While fans enjoy the massive scale and spectacle of these events, some worry that boxing's competitive spirit is being overshadowed by financial interests. The question now is whether the sport is evolving for the better or slowly losing what made it authentic.
Coming to take boxing to Saudi Arabia. He is not trying to help boxing in America. He is trying to help boxing in Saudi Arabia. And in order to help boxing in Saudi Arabia, he has to do damage to American boxing because American boxing is the mecca of boxing right now, and he wants to change where the mecca is. So when he backed Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, I did a video and I said, we know what this is going to be. This is going to be them trying to get this fight over for Canelo Alvarez. And then after that, Turki Al-Sheikh wants to take Canelo Alvarez to Saudi Arabia so he can fight Hamad Shiraz. And Hamad Shiraz can be the one to beat Canelo Alvarez and become the undisputed champion. And that was the end game that Turki Al-Sheikh had. So let's now talk about the fight that was necessary for Canelo to win in order for Turki's plans to come off. Terence Crawford had to lose to Canelo Alvarez. In the fight itself, as I have witnessed and many people have witnessed, that was not a close fight. That was a fight in which Terence Crawford won and won convincingly. The fight was probably close up until around round 4 or 5, at which point in time, Terence Crawford pulled out and pulled away and dominated that fight. Many experts, including myself, say that Terence Crawford won all but maybe 2 rounds. And there are some people that said that they didn't think Canelo won any round.
Crawford's career reached its defining moment when he defeated Canelo Alvarez, a result that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. The win not only strengthened his legacy, but also brought him an enormous payday, reportedly worth hundreds of millions. Analysts noted that this victory placed Crawford in a rare position where elite skill and massive financial success came together. The conversation quickly turned to what's next for him, as he has already taken down one of the sport's biggest stars. For many, this fight proved what Kellerman and others have long believed, that Crawford's legacy doesn't rely on careful management, but on taking on and defeating the toughest challenges. The money may be impressive, but the respect he earned for proving himself among the all-time greats matters far more.
31 KOs, defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, 63-3-2. Moving up 2 weight divisions was a brilliant performance. We're going to analyse the actual performance and how good he was technically, tactically, physically later on in the show, and we talk about the pound for pounder, Spencer and I. But what I want to ask you is, given that the judges scored it 115, 113, 115, Tim Cheatham 115, 113, Max DeLuca 115, 113, Steve Weisfeld 116, 112. Yeah, 116, 112 is 8 rounds to 4. I had it 9 rounds to 3. I could even have scored it 10 rounds to 2. How did you have it?
Yeah, I had it 117, 111. I thought the scorecards...
9 to 3 then, yeah?
Yeah, I thought the scorecards were way too close. But that was always going to happen with Canelo Alvarez to beat him in Vegas. We've seen a few fights go close before. Triple G was one that comes to mind straight away, where I thought Triple G had won the first fight for sure, and it didn't go his way.
Imagine this, Spence. If Terence had tripped over Canelo's feet late in the fight, let's say he tripped over, and they'd scored that a knockdown, it would have been a majority draw.
Yeah.
And we'd have been screaming blue murder, wouldn't we? We'd have got a rematch.
Yeah.
We might still get a rematch.
I was going to say that, by the way. That's the only place now for Canelo Alvarez to go to. We know he's still got a couple of fights left with Riyadh season in his contract.
I think he'll become like a Ronaldo, a Cristiano Ronaldo for Turki Al-Sheikh. That's what he seems to be setting up as. Get him 2 or 3 more fights, keep him busy, make him a brand ambassador for Riyadh season, get the Mexican audience to know, because obviously there's a big PR going on for Saudi Arabia. They want to conquer America, Latin America. They want to be known out there.
That wraps up today's video.